G'day everyone, Artist Wayne here with an action-packed ride full of action with more action piled on top. And helping me catch all said action on such a special and auspicious ride were my mates Vad the Impaler and drone pilot extraordinaire Chris the Desert Racer. And before you ask what was this special ride, bearing squarely down on the broad shoulders of us three cameramen who were tasked with the huge job of recording the trials and tribulations, the laughter and the tears of such an amazing ride. Well, to put it quite simply, today we would be tackling and conquering the Knoll. But first, as with every ride, I would have to wait for Action Amy and Tommy Boy to fix their bikes. They love to leave bike maintenance for ride day. And on top of all of this, Action Amy the Pocket Rocket had the audacity to ask me to help her. So what if I was the sweep rider? I mean, come on, she placed third in the Australian Women's Hard Enduro. Turn your wheel the other way. The last thing I needed was to expend all my energy before tackling the Knoll. Oh well, I might as well be content to be the superhero that I am and help those in need. But what about all the other superstars on this ride? Well, apart from Action Amy the Pocket Rocket, Tommy Boy, Chris the Desert Racer and Vad the Impaler, we had our lead rider, the man sporting one of the world's greatest enduro mullets, Damo, riding for Team Husky along with Andy and Howie. Who else was on this ride? That's right, Guy 2.0, Nicky P on his sexy retro KTM. Even Ash the Viking was here. And there was one other rider. Who was it again? Oh my god, that's right, it was the one and only pin-up boy, Adrian. And now that we've all caught up, we might as well jump straight down the throat and into the belly of the trail they call the Knoll. And if one looks up the meaning of the Knoll on Wikipedia, well, according to Stephen King, and yes, I'm talking about the famous author, the Knoll is an afterlife dimension of chaos. And although I doubt he's ever ridden down here, he's pretty close in his assumption. Now, to get down into the Knoll, you have to ride down a steep descent. And the last time I did this, with my Master Funky, Darky, Big Andy, Super Sam and the guy we call Guy, I happened to go over the handlebars, exactly where Vad is at this very moment. And when you do that, it really hurts. So this time I made sure I was careful in how I tackled my descent. So strap on those helmets, boys and girls, and join me on a journey of discovery, because you're about to learn everything you ever wanted to know about the Knoll, but were too afraid to ask, or too afraid to ride it, whichever the case may be. After a little bit of whiskey throttle on Amy's part, we'd reached the bottom, where you soon realise that this is a prehistoric forest. Far into the trail, boys and girls, we come to our first obstacle, a gnarly, snotty little rutted hill. And it appears that Adrian, the pin-up boy for Amarok, Australia, is having some difficulties. Once the first gnarly hill is conquered, it's a trail of rocks, vines, roots, and f***ing tree logs. And everyone knows I hate going over logs. Unfortunately, the knoll is full of them. They come in all shapes and sizes.
Best log I've ever gone over!
Ash the Viking and Damo would do a lot of track maintenance along the way, and it appears Ash has had loads of practice with those arm movements.
And my rear wheels off the ground. That's it.
We're almost at the creek now, where we could sit down, have a bite to eat, and Chris the Desert Racer would release his drone. And this is where Tommy Boy would go sweep for a while, so I could ride with Adrian the Pin-Up Boy, because I haven't seen him in ages. It was now time for Chris the Desert Racer to give flight to his artistic flair. And now for your viewing pleasure, here's some Bike Ballet by Vad the Impaler and Damo.
Yeah, that was always the trail. Oh, Nicky play! Going through the middle. Oh, right in the middle, not your line. Poor That's it. Go all the way. Yeah. Try and get a nice splash going, will you? Yeah.
Once we were all across this creek, we could now start the climb out. How hard could that be? Here's my best log jump ever! Just imagine my excitement! Sorry, Vad, clearly I didn't have it. And then this happened. This branch right here was about to go straight through my bark busters. Adrian, the pin-up boy for Amarok Australia, had already copped it in the biceps.
No, I'm not fucking right.
Fuck. I was just lucky it didn't go straight through my hand, but now my mighty WR was on top of me, leaking fuel.
Let me out.
And for those that don't know, petrol burns.
Can I get out? I'm covered in fuel.
Is that a ball?
That hurt. I am covered in fuel. Oh, I'm glad it's not around my ball sack.
I know what that's like, boys and girls, because I'm speaking from experience.
There's a tree going right through my bark buster.
Good old Ash the Viking cut the mighty WR free, and he gave me some water so I could soothe all my petrol burns. Looking back on the accident, I could see what happened. It was all Adrian the Pin-Up Boy's fault. He must have dislodged the branch with his tiny biceps muscle, pulling it further out onto the track for the next unsuspecting victim, which was me. But us dirt bike riders aren't pussies. We just get straight back on our bikes and get back to the job at hand, which was continuing our climb out of the Null.
Look out.
And that, boys and girls, is how we conquered the Knoll. Once you get to the top of that hill, it was an easy climb out. What an awesome ride we had, and we all did it without any dramas. Yes, I lost a finger and received third-degree petrol burns to my body. Adrian the Pin-Up Boy copped a stick to the arm and made a big deal out of it, but that's all part of the fun. Once we left the Knoll, we bid farewell to Dad the Impaler, who had done such a brilliant job capturing all that fantastic video for me. And shortly after that, Howie had bike troubles, so he too had to bail. The rest of us, however, will make our way back towards our cars. I would once again go back to being sweet rider until Andy took over, as we rode back on some nice flowy singles. Nicky P would cause Amy to crash. Ash the Viking would bail early due to a headache, probably caused by dehydration, seeing as I used all his water to cool down my petrol burns. And I would follow Nicky P on his sexy retro KTM down the last big hill until I ran out of talent and could follow him no more. One last nice crash just to finish the day off. Makes for great video, boys and girls. Special thanks to Chris the Desert Racer and Thad the Impaler for all your fantastic video footage. You guys really helped record a brilliant day. Huge thanks to Damo and the boys for taking us on an absolutely bonza ride. I'm artist Wayne Dowson and thanks for watching, everyone.
Ah, top day.
What happened to you? You crashed, did you?
Hey?
Did you crash?
Yeah. I went over the handlebars.